All right, so we're going to get together today to talk about the DSA. And I'm going to go ahead and put up my slideshow for you all so that we can, you all can see what I'm sharing from, okay? Okay, so like I said, we're going to be talking about using the DSA, the developmental spelling analysis, and we're going to be talking about how we can use the results of the DSA to instruct our intervention or reading groups. So on our agenda today, we're going to be number one, I'm going to be showing you how to find the assessment if in fact you don't have it. And number two, I'm going to determine show you what section that you need to give based on your grade level. Number three, where to go from there once you have your results and what to do with the data. So if you do not have a copy of the DSA, or if you've been teaching for a while, you probably had a hard copy, or you probably were making copies from the book, but it is on the curriculum website. So what you're going to do is go to the literacy curriculum website. You're going to go to data collection tools, open the assessment protocol, and click the link for the DSA. So that looks like this. And hopefully you all have had a chance to get on the curriculum website. It's new this year, it's different and updated. And you do have to use your LRSD Google account to get on. So if you're signed in on something else, it's not going to open for you. So you can literally open any of the grade levels, it doesn't matter, or the data collection tools, because the assessment protocol is the same. So I'm clicking up here at the top, and that leads me to the assessment protocol. And then I can see what all assessments that I need to give in either the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, or the end of the year. So for first grade, you guys are given the DSA, second, third, and fourth. I can see that here. So if you need the materials, just click on that right there, and the hyperlink is there, and it will open for you. You've got your answer scoring cards, your blank student sheets, your word list to read to the students, and then there are directions down here as well. So that is how you access your materials from the curriculum site. Now, for who gives what? I know y'all do not care about anybody else but your own grade level. So just look here at your area. So kindergarten, you all start at the letter naming stage, but you don't give the DSA until the end of the year spring assessments. First grade, you're going to start with within word. And a lot of yours probably won't really be ready for that. So if you start within word and they don't do well, then you're going to move down to the letter naming stage if needed. And you guys give it at the beginning of the year. Second grade, you start at within word and you give it beginning of the year. And then third through fifth grades, you're going to start at syllable juncture. And then you've got derivational constancy is the next one. It's only needed if a student scores over a 21 on syllable juncture, and you all give it at the beginning of the year as well. So once you have given the DSA, you're going to give it just like a spelling test. You can give it whole group. If you don't feel confident giving it to your kids whole group, you don't think that they're going to pay close enough attention or stay on the lines or whatever that may be, you can give it small group. It's just going to take longer. Then it's going to be time for you to score it. So you're going to take up your student sheets, and this is the scoring of features, and we're going to get a little bit more detailed about it in just a minute. But once you're looking at the kids' work, if they have spelled the entire word correctly, then you're going to put a 2 out beside that word. If you're looking at the word and they have not spelled the word correctly, but they have the target feature correct, you're going to put a 1. And we'll look at what the target feature is in just a minute. If they have neither right, then you're going to put a 0, or you can just leave it blank. Letter reversals like B and D are not considered errors, so don't worry about that. And then we have some examples down here at the bottom. So for example, if the teacher called jet, see how the J is underlined in jet in the parentheses? That means that's the feature. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to see if they can get that beginning sound J. and the child wrote dret. So that's 0 points because he did not get the feature. He didn't get the J, nor did he spell the word correctly. So he gets 0 points. Let me look down here at the chat real quick. Yes, I sure will share that again. The website, and if you can't find it, you can go on lrsd.org, and in their search bar, just type in literacy curriculum map, and it will come up for you. Okay, so let's look at the example number 2. The teacher called ship. I'm looking for SH at the beginning sound. So the student does get 1 point, even though they wrote SHEP, because they got the SH. So they got the feature, 1 point. And then the last example, bet, they spelled it fully correct. So they have the word is correct and they have the feature. So you would put a 2. We're going to get a little bit more into that on the next slide. Once you have all of your 2s, 1s, or 0s on your scoring sheet, you're going to add up the number of correctly spelled words, those with a 2. And you're going to record this as your stage score. So when you're counting it, don't count it 2, 4, 6, 8. Each 2, you just count 1 time. So you're counting the number of 2s that are on there, okay? So if they have 22 2s, then their stage score is 22. Next, you're going to add up how many feature A's were spelled correctly, how many feature B's were spelled correctly, and so on. And you'll record those in the space provided on the answer sheet. There are 5 features on each one. So on letter naming, you have feature A, B, C, D, and E. And then it just goes on from there as you're getting up in the stages. And those are going to be your 1s and your 2s. So if they have scored a 1 on that word or a 2 on that word, they get it in the at the bottom where you're tallying up all your A's, B's, C's, D's, E's, etc. So that was a lot of talking, and I'm going to let you now watch a short video. I'm going to show a little clip of a teacher actually scoring it, so it makes a little bit more sense. You can actually see it being done. I'm not going to show the whole video because it'll be long. So I'll show the beginning and then we'll kind of skip to the end and watch her adding it up.
Good grammar
and let me go ahead and
spelling
make sure
are important.
I've got my
But if
sound
you want to
shared.
write essays that inspire, messages that for
If y'all will give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
Okay, scoring the letter name spelling test, developmental assessment spelling test. In the letter name stage, I have the child's test and the answer card. And we'll go through this step by step. Number 1, jet. The child got the feature, J, and spelled the whole word correctly, so they get 2 points. Number 2's feature, SH, the word is correct, 2 points. Bet, shorty feature, word spelled correctly, 2 points. Number 4, got, feature, and the word's correct, 2 points. Number 5, cap, short vowel in the middle feature, spelled correctly, 2 points. Number 6, drum, did not get the feature, name, words not spelled correctly, no points. Number 7, bump, the feature should be MP, did not get it correct, 0 points. Number 8, much, the feature is the CH, they get 1 point for the feature, but the word is not spelled correctly. Number 9.
Okay, so as you can see there, she is looking over here at her scoring sheet and seeing what is underlined in those words that she called, and that's the feature part that she is going to be grading on. I'm going to skip forward on the video now so we can see her kind of adding it up.
For the C's, they only got 3 with a 1 or a 2. For the D's, they got 3 of those with the 1 or a 2. And anything with an E, they got 4 of those. Now here's where you do add these digits up. So when you add up all of the features, 5, 4, 3, 3, and 4, you get a 19. The 19 would be their feature score. Anything on the stage score at the top, you would use 22 to 25, means they have a secure understanding, and you would continue testing.
Okay, and we're going to go over that in just a second. Let me go ahead and close out of this. All right, I'm going to come to the chat and look at your questions. Okay. First grade video learning stage. Okay, they may have updated. I'm seeing what you said, Miss, I think that was Miss Whaley, about the DSA on first grade. It says it begins with letter naming. When I looked yesterday, they had it on within Word, but they do update it. And I thought that was a little hard for first grade. So I'm actually glad that they took that down to letter naming, because that's really where you're probably going to end up anyway. If you gave within Word, you're basically going to have to go back down to letter naming, especially with the amount of school that we missed the past 2 years.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so you all probably have your DSAs in front of you. I'm going to give you guys a second to look at your DSAs that you've got and use your answer card. Just match it up just like you saw the lady on the video do. If the word is 100% correct, write a 2 beside it. If it's wrong, but the feature is correct, write a 1. And if the word has neither correct, it's a 0. Once you get all finished with that, determine your stage score by counting all of your 2s, and then you can find your features and count those up. I'm going to give y'all a few minutes to do that. And if you want to go off camera while you're scoring, and then if you'll come back on camera when you're finished scoring, that will let me know you're all done. If you are not going to be scoring, if you want to take this time to run to the restroom or get a drink or a snack, now would be a good time to do that. Okay, I see most of you back on video, so I am assuming that y'all are kind of wrapping it up. If not, feel free to keep scoring and you can just kind of listen to me in the background. So we talked about determining the stage score. Once you've got all of your items scored, you're tallying up the number of correctly spelled words, those with a score of 2, and you're going to note the result at the top of your paper. So if they had 11 2s, then the stage score is 11, not 22. Remember, you just count it one time. Stage scores between 12 and 21 are indicative of a child's stage of development. So those scores reflect the spelling features that are within the learner's zone of proximal development. And it's here that your instruction should be directed. So you're going to start your group, if you're going to do some interventions on spelling, like in 3rd through 5th grade, you guys are using just words for your interventions. You're going to look and you're going to kind of start your groups where they are to give them some success. And then you're going to build from there. So see the little dog there, and his owner says stay. Between 12 and 21, you stay. That means you don't have to give the next assessment that is a level up, and you don't have to drop down. It is not required for you to give the next assessment in LRSD. However, if you want your data for you to be able to form your groups, then you're going to want to know exactly where they truly are. So you would want to either move down if they scored 11 or below, or move up to the next level if they scored 22 or above. So here are your instructional implications based on what kind of scoring you get from the DSA. Whenever you're forming your groups, you want to take into consideration the stages of development, the strength of their stage of development scores, and their specific feature knowledge. And you do have a class scoring guide that will help you do that. We're going to look at that in just a moment. You want to start with the student's area of strength, like I just was talking about, based on the feature analysis, because when you get your groups going, you want to give them that success in those first couple of weeks, and then you're going to build on that into their needs. For instructional strategies to help improve decoding, encoding, and reading fluency, they must move forward from the child's secure knowledge base. So start with a feature that's a strength for all the members of the group. Now, once you're getting your interventions in your small groups together, 3rd through 5th grade can really use this data to help form your just words groups. Now, kindergarten, you guys are going to use your results of the PASI, because we're assuming that the students don't know any letters yet, because we are just now beginning to teach them letters. So if they don't know their letters and sounds yet, that's fine. They're going to get that up through January. So you guys are going to be really doing interventions on phonemic awareness. So you're going to look at your gaps from the PASI. 1st and 2nd grades, you can use the PSI and look at what kind of gaps they have in phonics and form your groups around that. But 3rd through 5th grade, you guys don't have that. Really, the only individual assessment that you guys are required to give is the DSA. So you all can look at this and see what gaps your students have. Now, one of the things that I've heard a lot from 3rd through 5th grade teachers is that they're scared to go to the book room now. They're like, the book room is off limits because we don't do guided reading anymore, right? But remember, you can still use those books from the book room that we have collected all throughout these years. The book room is not banned. It's still okay to use those books from the book room. We just use them differently now. So we're not going to hold it up like we did in the past and do a picture walk and predictions. And we're not going to use the same types of decoding strategies that we may have used in the past, or ways to figure out unknown words. So we're not saying, look at the picture anymore. We're primarily just using tapping, or what we would have called sound it out, and maybe a little bit of context clues. In your older grades, you're going to be looking for scooping so that they're dividing up those syllables. So using those books is still fine. You want to form your skill-based groups rather than guided reading leveled groups. So we're not giving the we're not giving the DRA anymore, but we are giving this, the DSA. So we can look at the gaps, and you can find some text features that are within your book room that would support what your learners need. You can also use word sorts during your DVR time. That's like what we had in the past. That would be your guided reading time, but we don't do guided reading anymore. Now it's called DVR. So that's where they're independently reading. You may have a group on Lexia, and then you're pulling some groups as well and listening to kids read, or you're doing just words, or you're doing any kind of a literacy intervention with whatever those kids are needing. You can do some word work based on the skills that they were lacking in the DSA. And for those kids who are reading independently and they're out with their books just from the classroom library, you may have them finding syllable patterns during that DVR time. You can use patterns that need support as a review for words during foundations or your just words interventions. So your 3rd grade groups, y'all are still doing the foundations, and then 4th and 5th, your just words. So you do get this sheet right here. Once you've got all of your students' scores, all of your tests scored, you want to kind of sort your papers where you've got the highest score all the way down to the lowest score. Then you can record these on the scoring sheet. So if you look at this teacher's DSA class record, Austin was the highest scoring student in her class. So I can see that she started out by giving him the letter naming stage, and he got all those correct, and he got a 25 on his stage score. So she went up to the next level within word, and he almost got all of those correct, and he scored a 20 on his stage score. So he's here at the top. Then she's just going down from there based on those stage scores, going all the way down to her lowest students. And then these over here did not make it over to within word, so they're going to go down from here. This is how you're going to form your groups. So as you can see, she's went through and circled any number that isn't a 5, because those are the ones that the students have not mastered yet. So that's how we can look and see what kind of gaps the students have. And then we know who needs to fit together in an intervention group because they have the same types of needs. So what I would probably do is I would start at the bottom with my lowest group. And I would say, okay, Ursula, Tom, and Cheryl, you all have missed just this one here on short vowels in the letter naming stage. So I know you kind of need the same thing. Then that's only 3 folks. So when I go up and across, oh, you guys, as soon as you started out on within word, they were scoring 0. So it looks like they really weren't necessarily ready for within word. So these people and these people are probably kind of the same. So that would be okay to grab 5 students right there. And then I would just go up, forming my groups with the next 4 to 5 students. And it's okay to have 6 in a group if you must, and sometimes we must, but I would try to choose that with my higher students, not necessarily my lower students. In my lower students, I want to have as few as I can squeeze together. Okay, so for your time to plan now. So you've done the DSA, you've scored it, you've grouped it, you've got your classroom scoring guide, you've circled, you know who to get together, right? So you make your groups, and then you decide what skills they need based on whatever you had circled there because they did not master it. And then some things that you can do is find a few books or word sorts on that skill to teach during DVR time. And then for you 4th and 5th grade teachers, you can look at your just words lessons and find the skills that match that they need. All right, I'm going to ask a few of you some questions. Is quiz time. So if I ask you a question, if I call your name, I'm going to ask you to go unmute and answer if you can, okay? All right, I'm going to pick on Tiffany Sharp. All right, Tiffany, if you'll unmute and tell me, what grade level do you teach?
I teach the 2nd grade.
Okay, so Tiffany, where do you start? Which stage do you give?
I start with within word.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, very good. Let's see. Let's also pick on Jamie, and I think it might be Devers. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Jamie. I am going to ask you, if I am adding up my stage score and the stage score is an 11, what do I do?
You go down to the level below.
Yes, you will go down. Unless it's letter naming, because there is nothing below that. Then you just leave that alone. And I didn't mention that, but that is true for that lowest level. Okay, I'm not going to pick on very many of y'all other than that. But if you have any questions for me, go ahead and feel free to unmute. And also, if you're like me and you attended this training, but you're like, I'm going to forget everything you said today, and then I've got to go ahead and do this later. Don't worry, because on the assessment protocol that I showed you a minute ago, the DSA scoring guide and the documents are all there, and it has everything that I just said. Also, somebody had asked me, Sunny had asked me to email the YouTube scoring video, and I'm happy to do that. So if you forget everything I've said, the directions are on the assessment protocol in those DSA scoring and documents. All right, do I have any questions?
Yes, where in there again, because I had to pull up the map and I didn't have it saved on my computer. Where is that again in the map?
Okay, so let me minimize my screen here. So we're here on our elementary literacy site.
Yep.
It's not going to be on the map. You're going to come over
Okay.
here to data collection tools. And that's where all of your testing type stuff is. So once you open that, the assessment protocol is up here at the top, and it doesn't matter what grade level you click on. The assessment protocol is right there. But it also gives you, if you do click on your grade level, what beginning of the year assessments you give up here, and what to give if they're flagged on the dyslexia screener. And then you can come on down, and they have additional data collection tools that are not required, but they are there.
Okay.
So you can click all those blue links. They're all hot links, and they're going to open up whatever it is that you need. So once I got that assessment protocol open, I have asked, by the way, that the CNI folks link all of these. That's why if you'll see over here, Carmen Langston, Carmen Langston, Carmen Langston, these are all my suggestions, asking them to please hot link all these other ones. But if you're looking for the PASI or the PSI and you don't know where to get it, all you have to do is go to 95percentgroup.com, and that's where you're going to get it. So that's what it would be hot linked to. And then you've got the codes were sent to your principals, and that's where you'll get those from. They probably emailed them out to you a long time ago, but if not, just ask them. So yeah, I can click right there on my DSA and get copies of everything. And it will open up and look like that. I've got my answer cards, my blank student sheets, my word list to read to the students. It has the sentence there, just like a regular old spelling test. And then, like I said, if you forget everything, these little guides right here, you can open these and they have everything that I just told you. Everything is right here. How to give it, who to give it to, all that good stuff. And then it just goes on from there. All three of those documents will tell you everything that I just said. Any other questions? All right, I don't hear anybody, so I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. If you do have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I will be out to see you all at Roberts, not this Thursday, but the next one. And I am going to be also providing a Just Words training in the future. So you probably have heard about that either from Dr. Coulter or Ms. Smith. If not, just get with them if you're needing Just Words. All right. Thank you all for getting on the call. If you have anything else that you want to ask and you just don't want to ask it in front of the group, feel free to stay on and I'll hang out for a minute, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good night.